Hello, CSN advisors, counselors, faculty, and staff. I'm Wilson Hatcher with UNLV's College of Education, and today we're going to go over some of our program offerings that your students might be interested in when they transfer to UNLV. Before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to Jessica Ogans for putting together this amazing slideshow. The slides look fantastic. And with that being said, let's get underway. Today, we're going to cover an update to our praxis requirement. Then we'll look at our majors and degree programs. After that, we'll have a deeper look at a couple of our updated degree sheets for the 2022-23 calendar year. And then finally, we'll look at some of the scholarships and other engagement opportunities for our future rebels. So our first announcement is a big one. The praxis exams are no longer required to graduate from UNLV. That's right, students do not need to pass their licensing exams in order to get their bachelor's degree in education from UNLV. They will still need to take those to get their teaching license, but we have decided that we are not going to hold back a degree for an external exam. This is great news for our students because it takes away some of those barriers to graduation, and it is important that they know that there is a 5-year expiration date on those praxis exams, so it is best now for them to hold off until they're a little bit later into their program before they go and take those. Of course, it's still okay to talk about the praxis. They want to study, they want to prepare for it, but please, please, please don't stress having to have the praxis in order to declare your full major. We don't need that anymore, and I think this is just fantastic news for our students. So with that being said, let's take a look at some of the majors that our students might go into. Our first major is Human Services. This is probably the one that you're the least familiar with. So Human Services is really a pre-counseling degree, and it's really designed to help students go into professions that deal with mental health, addictions, and child and adolescent services. It's a really good alternative for people who are interested in something like an applied psychology degree, and it is extremely transfer friendly. It has room for lots and lots of electives, which means there's plenty of room to take minors, or if we have somebody that maybe experimented with different courses, it's very, very transfer friendly. The course is also almost entirely offered online, so students have that flexibility to turn in their assignments at their own pace. Now, it does also include 2 180-hour internships, so that these students get a really good idea for the careers that they'll be going into. Our 4 education degrees are licensure track degrees, starting with our early childhood major. Now, the early childhood education degree will license a student to teach from birth to 2nd grade. And it's also important to note that we have a non-licensure track for this degree as well for students who want to go into early childhood education administration. Our elementary education degree will prepare students to get a teaching license to teach kindergarten through 8th grade. Secondary education licenses teachers to teach from 7th to 12th grade, and they must select a teaching field in either art, biological sciences, English, general science, which is for 7th to 9th grade only, mathematics, physical sciences, social studies, or sport and physical activity. Finally, we have our special education degree. This is a generalist degree that licenses teachers to teach special education from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, and they will work primarily with students with mild to moderate disabilities. We also offer several minors and undergraduate certificates that your students might be interested in. The addictions prevention and addictions treatment minors are excellent supplements to a human services major. It follows along very closely with the major requirements for human services, and it's a great way to fill in those extra elective slots that they have. Human services also has a minor of its own. We also have minors for secondary education. Now, if a student is going to take secondary education as a minor, they do need to have a primary major in either art, biology, English, or mathematics. Unfortunately, at this time, kinesiology majors are not eligible to do the sport and physical activity teaching field, so that one is excluded from the secondary education minor. We also have some really exciting undergraduate certificates. Our first one is in leadership development and engagement. We also have sports leadership and management, which includes a 150-hour internship with one of the professional sports teams here in Las Vegas. We also offer elementary and secondary international baccalaureate certification for teachers that want to be certified to teach IB classes. With that said, there are a few courses that we recommend and maybe don't recommend so much for students who are going into our majors. The first of those is Psychology 101. Most of our education majors require educational psychology as a part of their degree. And because of that, they aren't able to use Psychology 101 as one of their social science requirements. So unless you have a student that is going into maybe secondary education for social studies or sport and physical activity, or perhaps the human services majors, you should avoid Psychology 101. The next one has to do with fine arts. At UNLV, we only allow appreciation type fine arts classes to count for the fine arts requirement. This means classes like Music 107, Intro to Guitar, or Intro to Piano. Those courses cannot count for the fine arts requirement at UNLV. So keep that in mind when advising students if they have transfer aspirations. Also, ECE 250 is now required for both the elementary and early childhood majors. So if you have a student who's on the bubble about those two, ECE 250 might be a good course for them to take to kind of get a feel for the working with the younger children, because they'll still need it for elementary if they decide to go that route. Furthermore, our secondary education teaching fields have had several changes this year, but the good news is that all of those changes have essentially made it less restrictive in terms of the types of classes that they can take in order to satisfy their degree and teaching field requirements. And of course, finally, it's important to remember that UNLV does require 60 credits at a 4-year institution in order to graduate. So even though you might be able to find 70 or 75 credits worth of coursework that counts at both institutions or that would transfer over to UNLV for some of our teaching fields, just understand that students will need to take 60 credits at UNLV in order to meet this graduation requirement. So let's take a look at some of the changes to elementary education. The first big change has to do with the mathematics requirement. In the past, students had to take Math 122 and Math 123. This is no longer the case. Elementary education students can now take any 2 college-level math classes, excluding Math 116. This means that if we have a first-year student who didn't know they wanted to go into elementary education and got advised to take Math 120, that's totally fine. We can accept Math 120 as their mathematics requirement, and then they would just need to go take Math 122 or any other 100 or higher level math class. So please don't have students take additional math courses if they don't need them. Another change has come to the humanities requirement. We used to require History 217 as a required class. That is no longer required. Students can now take any 2 humanities that they'd like. Similarly, the sciences used to be biology, chemistry, and geography. Students now can take any 2 sciences just like with any other major. So 1 science with a lab, 1 science without, and they can be anything. Anthropology 102, biology, whatever they want. Also, it's important to note that we now require ECE 250 as a part of our elementary education degree. This, again, is great for students who might be on the bubble between early childhood education and elementary. So that's a good way for them to find out if they want to work with the younger group or not and still have a degree applicable class. Furthermore, some of our upper division coursework did change. EDSP 464 was added to both this and the early childhood education degree. It's a spring-only class, and it is a new degree requirement. EDU 203 is a prerequisite, and we do encourage students to take that at CSN so they can dive straight into 464 when they get to UNLV. And finally, PBH 424 and EDRL 401 are no longer required for elementary education. Early childhood education also had several changes. The two big ones are that ECE 252 and EDRL 401, which is called ECE 260 at CSN, are no longer required. So students do not need to take these classes for UNLV's degree, and so please don't have them take them. We also have added ECE 463. This is similar to the EDSP 463 that we saw on the elementary degree sheet. Another important addition to this degree is that we have now built in the ELAD endorsement to the major itself. ELAD is the endorsement that allows a teacher to teach speakers of other languages or English language learners. And so we've included those courses. It's built into the degree so that every early childhood education major is immediately endorsed and capable of teaching English language learners. So I think that's a great addition to the degree and will serve our community very, very well. So let's switch gears and talk about some of our really amazing scholarship opportunities. Our first one is called the Rodman Scholarship, and this is for special education majors. This is an intensive one-year program. Students will complete 2 years worth of special education coursework in a single year. Now, in order to be eligible for this, students must have completed all of their general education, completed EDU 203, 280, 214, and EDU 220, which is EPY 303 at UNLV, and have an overall GPA of 2.75. If they meet those requirements, they can enter this intensive program, have all of their tuition and fees paid for their special education courses and their Rodman-specific courses. They also get a $500 stipend to purchase a tablet, an e-reader, or their books and materials for their classes. There is important application deadlines. Students have to complete the FAFSA or an alternative needs form, and they do need to take their Praxis or CBEST in order to go into this program, but we do have some flexibility there. So if we have students that are going into special education, this is an amazing program, and I would encourage you to have your students definitely look into that. The other new program that we have is called the Paraprofessional Program, or the PPP program. Now, this program is a fast-track undergraduate program for full-time paraprofessionals in Southern Nevada. A paraprofessional is somebody who is already working in CCSD, perhaps as a teacher aide or in another capacity. And this program is to take those folks who are already in the school district and get them the qualifications so that they can be licensed teachers and start teaching as a teacher of record. The key requirement to get this is to to enter this program is to have completed all of your general education requirements and to have a 2.75 minimum GPA. Please follow the link that's on the screen for more information. And if you're working with any students who are coming back to CSN to get their teaching degree and are already working in CCSD, this is a great opportunity for them. And it's worked wonders for our cohorts who have gone through it already. We also have other scholarships that are available to all education majors. CSUN is UNLV's student government, and they have several scholarships that are available to all majors, as well as some that are specific for education majors going into their student teaching. They also have human services scholarships as well. The College of Education has many, many, many scholarships that are eligible that go to eligible education majors as well as human service majors. The Teach Grant is a federal grant that offers up to $4,000 per year to students in education majors. There is a lot of strings attached to that one, though, so make sure that the students are looking at all of the fine print before they sign on the dotted line. And of course, EdXchange has lots of other scholarships and other local, regional, and national opportunities. Aside from scholarships, we also have several engagement and involvement opportunities for our students. First and foremost is Rebel Educators. This is our student organization that is made for and by education majors. It's a great way to build your social network and your peer network with other like-minded education majors and future educators. Tau Upsilon Alpha is our chapter of a National Honor Society for Human Services majors. They do a ton of volunteer work and community service, and it's a really great opportunity for our folks that are going into the human services. Also, the College of Education and the Education Student Support Service, or the Education Student Services Center, also puts on a number of events and workshops throughout the year, including social events, praxis workshops, orientations for student teaching, you name it, we've got it. And so we have lots of opportunities for our students to get involved and get engaged. So if you have any other questions regarding our programs, please don't hesitate to reach out. Our phone number in the Education Student Services Center is 702-895-1537. You can see our email addresses up there. And please throw a follow to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We post updates to that all the time at UNLV COE. Thank you so much for listening to our updates. I hope to see you sometime soon, and I'm really looking forward to meet all of those future rebels that are working right now to earn their degrees at CSN. Have a great day.